Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. Lovely to see you all. Hello to Fernham Primary School in South Yorkshire and Corpus Christi. Hello to you. Welcome year 2 and 3. And year 1 in Dundonald Primary School. Hi to you too. And hopefully everyone's got their pen and pencils ready. If not, there's a little bit of time to go and get them. Hello to primary year 3 and 4 in Neverburn Primary. And Corpus Christi, year 1, Fernham, year 1. Hi to you too. Thank you so much for joining. And hello to Fox class, year 1. Just going to give a couple more minutes for everybody to join. And hello Branston Infants, year 1 class, St Francis Catholic Primary School. Hopefully your internet starts working, chestnuts. Hopefully year 1's able to join us. Hello everyone, lovely to see you all. Welcome to this term's Key Stage 1 Farshore Book Club event with Collins. If you haven't already, please pop your name in the chat box and let us know what school you're from. And I'm Emma. I'm an editor at the publisher Farshore, and I have the amazing job of working with wonderful authors to create books for children, just like this one. And this is Smriti Halls. If you can give us a wave, Smriti, if you're there. There she is. Hello, lovely to see you. And she's the brilliant author of Who Are You? And in just a moment, Smriti is going to do a very special story time with us, and she has some fun challenges for you too. And at the end, it'll be your turn to ask some questions. So start thinking about them, and if your teacher could please write them in the Q&A box. Smriti will answer as many as she can at the end. And there'll be some little challenges from Smriti. So please put any answers to those in the Q&A box as we go along. And now over to you, Smriti.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Unfortunately, I can't see you, which seems a little bit unfair. So I wonder, would it be okay if you gave me a really big shout, hello, and a big wave? And we'll see if it can reach all the way to London where I am. Let's see if you can give me a great big hello. I think I heard that. Let's do another one just to wake ourselves up after lunch. Hello. Amazing. Hello to all of you. I'm so excited to join you this afternoon. It's my first event of the new year, and it's my very first event for a brand new book. So I am extra excited. But before we kick off, I thought we could practice saying my name, because I know some of you might know who I am, but some of you might not know any of my stories yet, or you might not have come across my name before. And I've realize that sometimes when people come across a name they don't know, they sometimes feel a bit shy about saying it. And when I say people, really, I mean grown-ups. Children are usually not that shy about things they don't know. So I thought I would say it to you, and then you could say it back to me, and we could have a little practice, okay? So my name is Smriti. Can you say that? Smriti. Very good. Let's see if you can say it very, very fast. Smriti. Brilliant. And very slowly, Smriti. And very high, Smriti. That is perfect. Well, I tell you what, if you see anyone, especially a grown-up, who has any problem saying it, will you remind them that it rhymes with pretty and witty, and they'll never forget it. Okay, well, I'm here because I am a storybook author, a picture book author, and I've written all of these books and lots of others. I really, really love my job. I love creating new books and new stories all the time. And shall I let you into a secret? I actually get a lot of help from the name Smriti, because you may not know, but Smriti means something very special. It means memory or remembrance. It means the things that you remember. And I find that such a useful tool for being a writer. I find that in my books, I remember funny things that have happened to me, and sometimes they go into my stories. Sometimes I'm remembering things that people have said that have made me laugh. Sometimes I'm remembering the way I felt in a particular situation, and I put those things into my stories. Some of the books that you might recognize that I've written are I'm Sticking With You, which is illustrated by Steve Small, all about the friendship between these two very unlikely friends, bear and squirrel. You might know Rain Before Rainbows, which is the story of this little girl and her companion Fox, who are looking for a way out of darkness and into the brightness and colour of light. And you may know this story, which is called Elephant in My Kitchen, which is all about this little boy, Raffi, and what happens when his house gets completely invaded by animals. He has to figure out why they're there, and more importantly, how on earth to get them back home again. And this is illustrated by Ella Oxtad, and it's full of really brilliant pictures. But I've written actually more than 50 books, and they've been published in more than 35 languages around the world. And I'm going to try and share my screen with you and show you a little bit more of those books and a little bit more of who I am. So here are some of my other books, which you might recognize. And you can see that I write stories about all sorts of different things, different characters. There are bunnies and bears and squirrels. There are ducks and geese. There are dinosaurs and monsters, and some very serious books about elephants wearing underpants and monkeys sitting on the loo, because stories can be about absolutely anything. Because stories are a part of us. They're a part of who we are. And the stories that we love are about all sorts of things. That's what I've discovered. And I first started dreaming of writing stories when I was your age, when I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And I hope one day that I will see some books by some of you on the bookshelves of my local library and bookshop, because I hope that some of you that are listening to me talk today are also dreaming about the books that they're reading and dreaming about writing stories of your own. Now, as Emma said at the beginning, today is a special day because I'm going to be sharing this book, Who Are You? And it is going to be my very first time of reading this live to a school. So it's quite exciting that there's so many of you watching this today. But I'm super excited about this book because, as I told you, my stories are full of memories, and I don't think there's any book that I've written which is more full of memories than this one, because Who Are You is a book to help all of us discover a little bit more about ourselves and a little bit more about each other. This is a book that I really hope lots of you are going to share with each other in order to find out more about your families, about the things that you love, about things that perhaps you don't even realize that you love. And we're going to read it together in just a little while. But before we do, I thought I would tell you a few things that you might not know about me. So I'm a writer, you know that much, but I grew up all over the place. I moved around a lot when I was growing up, and I thought I would give you a challenge. So I am going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you to guess where I've lived, and I'm going to put up some slides of some different places, and you have to guess which of these places I have not lived in. Can we have a go at that? Okay, so I have lived in, or have I lived in? Do you know where this is? This is a very fine city. It's Liverpool, and those are the liver birds. So I might have lived in Liverpool. This is another brilliant city up in the northeast, and it's called Newcastle, Newcastle upon Tyne. I might have lived there. Oh, have I lived in this city? This is Copenhagen. And one of those houses is one of the houses that Hans Christian Andersen lived in, the famous storyteller. Have I lived in Copenhagen? I wonder if you recognize that beautiful building. That is the Taj Mahal. Now, have I lived in India? I wonder. Can you guess? Oh, this is a very brilliant city. Well, this is Hong Kong. Have I lived in Hong Kong? And I wonder if you know which country this is the symbol for. This is the red dragon of Wales. I wonder if I've lived in Wales. And finally, London. I may have given you a clue about where I live now earlier on. I didn't think of that. So I wonder if you can take just a few seconds to guess which of those countries you think that I have not lived in. So I have countries, which of those places I have not lived in. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ones there. And one of them is somewhere that I haven't lived. Can you guess which it is? And if you have a guess, perhaps your teacher can put it in the chat box. But I'm going to tell you in just about 30 seconds. So, okay. We've got one guess of Wales. Do we think it's Wales that I haven't lived in? Oh, you might be right. Do we have any other guesses? Copenhagen. That's another guess. I wonder if that's the one. I love those colourful buildings. Hong Kong. Well, it is very far away, isn't it? And I think it takes about 14 hours to get there. So that's a very inconvenient place, surely, to live. I don't know. India. Liverpool. Okay, we've got guesses for all of them. We've got a second guess for Wales. So Wales is the popular favourite. A third guess for Wales. Okay, I am going to show you where I haven't lived. So here we go. Well, it's not Liverpool, because I have lived in Liverpool. I went to university in Liverpool and I read history and English and loved it. So I lived in Liverpool for 3 years. So it's definitely not Liverpool. And this is Newcastle, and that's where I went to school between the age of 10 and 14. I loved the Northeast. It's a really cold place, but it doesn't matter because the people are so friendly and it's really warm that way. This is India. I did live in India until I was nearly 2 years old. So I don't really remember it, but I've been on lots of holidays there since. So India is the place of my birth. What's the next one? Hong Kong. I did live in Hong Kong. I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years. And for some of it, I was a teacher. And it's also where I started writing. So that's where I started having a job as a writer for the first time. Wales. Yes, I did live in Wales for a long time. I lived in Wales pretty much till I was 10 years old. So I can even speak a very little bit of Wales, and I'm very partial to a Welsh cake. This is London, which is where I live now and have lived for a very long time. So the answer is Copenhagen. This is not where I live. This is where one of my sisters lives. So I go there all the time, but I've never lived there. So that's a little bit about me, something that you might not have known. Now, I want you to talk to the person next to you and see if you can tell them something that they might not know about yourself. So here are some ideas for what you might guess about. But there's just one rule. I want you to make it a little bit tricky for them. I would like you to tell them something that is your favorite thing. Let's say your favorite food. And I would like you to tell them something that is not your favorite food and ask them to guess which is which. Let me give you an example. One of these two things is my favorite fruit. Question is it a melon or is it a banana? Can you answer that question? They're both yellow. They're both pretty squishy on the inside. They're both very sweet. Who thinks my favorite fruit is a melon? And who thinks it's a banana, which you can slip in your pocket wherever you go? You can't slip a melon in your pocket, really. It's far too big and cumbersome. So let's have a look at the chat books. Oh, we've got melon and we've got banana. Shall I tell you which it is? It is a melon. I love melon. There are loads of different kinds of melon, and it's a little bit exotic and tropical and reminds me of holidays and the sunshine. So I wonder, just for 1 minute, whether you can turn to the person sitting next to you in class and tell them two different answers to the same question. It could be my favorite food, my favorite game is football, or is it basketball? My favorite animal is a lion, or is it a bunny rabbit? My favorite book is all of Smriti's books. No, you talk to the person next to you starting now, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to try and find out as many things really as you can about each other that you didn't know before. So that could be about something that's not even on the sheet here. It could be about your favorite color. It could be how many pets you've got. Is it 3 or is it 23? It could be, what else? It could be all sorts of things because there are so many interesting things about you. But you've got about 10 seconds left to find out some other really interesting things about each other. Brilliant. Well done. Well done, everyone. Well, after you finish listening to me, that might be a really nice thing for you to do back in class, which is to tell the rest of the class something that you have found out about the person sitting next to you. Perhaps you can give that a try. But I think it's time to crack on with looking at this book. Who Are You? The words are by me, Smriti Halls, and the pictures are by Ali Pai. I'm going to bring up the artwork on screen so you can see it really big. And it goes like this. How do you do? Have you come far? Who do you actually think that you are? What's going on? What's this about? Turn over the page. We're going to find out. Dive into this book and explore lots of things that make you, you. So we're going to start with our faces. Look at your face, your ears, and your chin. Now, wiggle your nose. Can you wiggle your nose, everyone? And give a big grin. Beautiful. Now, jiggle your eyes. Are they twinkly and bright? Are they little or large? Are they dark? Are they light? And if you look at the picture, there are all sorts of different eyes there. I wonder if you can see any eyes or ears or noses or chins or smiles that look a bit like yours. I wonder if there's anyone there with any of your features, because there's so many beautiful faces on this page. And look here, we've got beautiful hair. It never stops growing, your wonderful hair. Is it tidy and neat? Do you simply not care? Is it curly or straight? Is it tied up or free? If it didn't get cut, how long would it be? I wonder, what do you like about your hair? My hair's quite long, but when I was about 9 years old, it was so long I could sit on it. I like that very much, but it wasn't very practical. I wonder what you like about your hair. Who's in your family? Who's in your pack? Who takes good care of you? Who has your back? Who makes you giggle? Who hugs you tight? Who reads your bedtime story at night? Look at all those lovely faces. I wonder, who would you put in your picture? Who is in your family? We've all got different people, different numbers of brothers and sisters. We've all got different numbers of people who live in our house. I wonder who's in yours. When you're at home, what do you play? Daring adventures in lands far away? Perhaps you love books or a favorite toy. What are the games that you really enjoy? And later on, you can spot all the things that you love playing with. I wonder if it's going to be cars. There's a kitchen in that picture. There are lots of animals. There's a pirate ship and a castle. I wonder who likes adventure games. And there are diggers and dumper trucks and really every kind of game. Someone's doing a magic trick. Someone's reading a book. Aunties and uncles, grandpas and grands. Who's in your bigger family clan? Cousins and godparents, people you know, friends that you make from the places you go. Who else is important to you? So this isn't just your family that lives in your house, but what about those aunties and uncles? What about your school teacher? What about your basketball coach? They're all people who have an impact and an influence on your life. I wonder who else is important to you. Oh, I love this page. It says, on special occasions, do you look the part? What do you wear when you want to look smart? Do you look fancy? How are you dressed? What do you wear when you're looking your best. I wonder what you would like to wear to this party. When do you get dressed up? Is it for special occasions like Christmas or Eid? Is it for Hanukkah? Is it for a special birthday party you might be going to, or a Halloween party? I wonder what special occasions that you have that you celebrate. You could have a think about that afterwards. Oh, I love this page. It says, where have you lived? We talked about that, didn't we? And where have you been? What have you visited? What have you seen? The world is so big, but we always know that there are new friends to meet wherever we go. And you can see a picture of a map, and these children are sticking on animals and different things from all of the places that they've been to. I wonder if you've been on holiday anywhere, or if you or your family have visited or lived in any of these other places in the world. My favorite, food. It says, what do you see that's delicious to eat? Salty or sour, spicy or sweet. Foods of all sorts are here on display. What do you fancy eating today? And I wonder, when you look at that picture, can you spot some of the things that are your favorites? There's all sorts of things there. There are sausages, there is sushi, there are all sorts of spicy curries, and I think there's paella, and there's cheese and biscuits and tropical fruit. There are tacos. There's all sorts of stuff. I could stay looking at all the food on that page for ages, but it would make me too hungry. So let's move on. Do you sing? Do you bounce? Do you skate or run? There are 101 different ways to have fun. Do you read? Do you swim? Do you juggle or bike? Keep looking around. What else do you like? I wonder if you would like to join in with any of those activities. And I wonder if you do any of those sports or games. I love swimming. I haven't been swimming for ages though. I'm not very good, but I just have so much fun splashing about. I wonder which things you like doing. Now, can you see all the people in this spread? It says, who's your mum's mum? How far back can you go? Who's your dad's dad? How much do you know? Where did they live? What did they do? A small part of them is a small part of you. I always think it's so interesting to talk to the people in our families about their lives, and especially older people. Sometimes we forget to do that, but they have lived their whole lives, and it's so interesting to talk to them about their mums and dads and their grandparents. That's reaching so far back in time and back in history, and usually it's full of fascinating stories that you can find out about. So I challenge you to ask your aunties or uncles or grandparents, if you can talk to them, about what things were like when they were little. Or you could ask your parents what they remember from when they were little, because actually that might feel like quite a long time ago to you as well. And finally, your past and your present, your sparkle, your smile, your likes and dislikes, your hairdo, your style, all of these things make you who you are. You're completely unique. You, and that's all of you, are a star. Because every star is different. We know that, don't we? And all of them shine brightly. Now, I have been talking for so long that we have got very little time to do our activity. I'm going to try anyway. I'm just going to move to the next slide and show you this. This is a creation I've made, and it's called a doodle you. That means it's you. And in here, this is just a very silly one that I made, but this one is for slightly older children, and I've written numbers into these, into my doodle you, and inside my doodle you, it's filled with things that I love, places that I've lived, things I like eating, and I'm going to show you very quickly how to make one of these things. So let me come back, come back really big, and there's the doodle you that I just showed you, but we're going to make a slightly simpler one, and I thought we could draw in ours instead of putting lots of words in it. How about we draw the things that make us who we are? Okay, so now don't be worried about getting this wrong, because you can't get it wrong, because your doodle you is your creation. There are no mistakes. It can't be wrong. It's just really a great big squiggle. Now, I'll see if you, I will show you mine close up in a minute, but it starts really just like this. It's a big squiggle like that. And in the middle, if you don't like your squiggle, you could always turn it over and do another one. But really all I do then is I draw some eyes in the middle, like that. And because we're all so happy, a big smile, like that. And because we need to get around, all of us, I'm going to give us some legs. So that I need 2 lines there for one leg, and another 2 lines there for the other leg. And I'm going to put some big shoes on, really big shoes. How about that? Yes, so your doodle you has got shoes, and I'm going to colour them in like that. And you need arms, so you can give everyone a big wave. So I'm just going to do a line like that. I'm going to put some fingers on. Yay! There's 5 fingers for waving. And let's give you, your doodle you, another arm with 5 fingers. Look a bit like the bananas that I had earlier. And there you are. That's you. That's you. And what I thought you might like to do is, in these shapes that you can find around, you can add a little number like this. So I'm going to put a number 1 there. I'm going to put a number 2 here. And I'm going to put a number 3 up here. Okay. And in the number 1, you might like to draw yourself and all the people that you love the most, the people that help to make you who you are. So very quickly, I'm going to draw me, which I'm not an illustrator. So here we go. I'm going to do an oval for my face, and I'm going to do 2 eyes, and I'm going to give myself a big smile because I'm generally quite a smiley person. And I'm going to give myself long hair. It's not as long as it was, but it's still quite long. There I am, with a little bit of a fringe. There I am. Beautiful. And let's see, I might put some books around me, because actually I'm never far away from some books. Oh, and I might give myself a very bright pink t-shirt, because actually that's something about me. I really, really like bright colors. So I'm often wearing something very bright and bold. And then I'm going to draw some other faces. I might draw my 3 boys that I have at home. I've got 3 boys. One of them's got spiky hair. One of them's got quite floppy hair. One of them's got curly hair. There they are. And they're also very smiley. So you can add to that your favorite friends. You can put in your teacher. You can put some of the special people in your life who help to make you who you are. Now, in the second box, or the second squiggle, the biggest one you've got, I suggest you put some of your favorite things. So some of the favorite foods that you eat, or some of the favorite activities that you like doing. So I'm going to put my favorite foods. Oh, that's so hard. I'm going to put a bun. I love a bun with a cherry on the top. And I also love, I don't know if I know how to draw this. It's a very bad drawing. of something that's supposed to be like a pancake, but it's an Indian pancake. It's called a dosa, and it's absolutely delicious. If you ever get a chance to try eating a dosa or a masala dosa, it's absolutely yummy. So that's my dosa there. And I'm also going to put other things that I love doing. I love cooking. So there's a bowl with a spoon. I love doing crossword puzzles. So there's one of those. I'm drawing a crossword over here. What else do I like doing? I like reading books and going to the cinema. I like doing lots of things. And if I had more time, I might fill up that whole thing with all the things that I love doing. But you've got a bit more time, so you could fill up one of your squiggles with all the things you love doing. And finally, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might put in some of those places that I've lived that have helped to shape me and make me who I am. Can't draw a dragon, but I might draw a Welsh daffodil like that. And I definitely can't draw the Houses of Parliament or Big Ben, but I could draw the London Eye, which is where I live now, which is just really a big circle with lots of blobs going round. And I could draw the flag of India, which is where I was born. So it's got 3 stripes and a wheel in the middle, like that. I wonder where you visited. I wonder what you would put in your 3rd box. But that's enough for me, and I'm going to hand over to Emma because I think some of you have got some questions.
Oh, thank you so much, Smriti. That was brilliant. I love the doodle you, and I can't wait to see all the lovely creations that everyone's been doing at school. Everyone, if you've got some questions for Smriti, please pop them in the Q&A box or the chat box now, and we'll have a look at those. Have a think of what you'd like to ask. Oh, we've got one coming in. Where did you get the inspiration for Who Are You? Very good question. Thanks very much. Over to you, Smriti.
That's such a good question. Thank you very much. Do you know that I got the idea from some of the brilliant people that I work with at Farshore? So some of Emma's team at Farshore Publishers thought it would be brilliant to have a book that really was all about how different and how brilliant we all are, how individual we all are. And what I really wanted, I went away and I thought about that. I thought, how could we have a book where every single person felt included, where every single person who read the book would feel they could discover something about them? And it was really hard. I had to think about it for ages and ages because I wanted to weave into it all the favorite things that we love. You know, so there are pages about your favorite sports or activities, but I also wanted to weave into it some of the unusual things about ourselves, perhaps some of the festivals that we celebrate or the lovely clothes that we wear, which perhaps are different looking to everybody else's. And most of all, I wanted there to be all sorts of children who looked all sorts of different ways, who have curly hair and straight hair. I found when I was growing up that there were not very many people in books who looked anything like me. There was hardly ever anyone who had dark hair, and there certainly was never anyone who had brown skin. So I wanted this book to be one where hopefully lots of people would see other children who look like them. And in fact, I didn't know that Ali was going to do this, but when I saw the cover of the book, well, I let out a great big squeal because this little girl right on the front cover looks just like I did when I was about 6 or 7 years old, because I used to have my very long hair in a really long plait down my back. So that made me excited. Even at the age that I am, I felt super excited to see myself in a story.
Thanks very much. And we've got another question from Year 1, St. James. What is your favourite book that you have written?
Well, that is an impossible question. How can you ask me that? Do you know what? On a different day, on any day of the week, I would answer that question differently. I think I have a different favourite all the time. But today I'm definitely going to have to say it's this one because it was so exciting for me to get to read it to you. So I'm going to go with this one because I think more than any book, this is the one that is really for absolutely everybody in the world. And in fact, in the front of the book, I have dedicated it to everyone. I've said that it's for you and for me and for everyone, because it is.
And how long did it take you to write a book?
Oh, well, how long's a piece of string? It really varies. Some books come really, really quickly because perhaps they're just in the front of your mind and all the words fall out onto the page and it's really, really fast. And maybe that would take a day or a few hours of a day to get one first go. It might get edited lots of times after that, but I might be able to turn it around like that. But you know, sometimes some books take a really long time. And in fact, this book, Rain Before Rainbows, I think that took me maybe about a year. Not because it took a year to write the words. There aren't very many words in it, but I carried it around in my head for a long time before I wrote anything down, because I really wanted to feel what the story was about before I wrote the words. And when I wrote the words, then they came very easily, but it needed to be thought about for a long time. And sometimes I think maybe you'll find that with your stories too. Sometimes they come really fast and other times they just need a bit more thinking about.
And I think we've got time for one more. So how did you become an author, Smriti?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. I became an author, I think. Remember that there's no real difference between a writer and author. All of you are writers already. You might not be able to write very many words yet, but as soon as you're writing, and as soon as you're writing letters or stories or poems or sentences, you are writers. But I became an author a little bit after that. I got a job as a writer for the BBC. I used to write stories for shows on television like Bob the Builder and Postman Pat and things that you see on CBeebies. And then I became an editor and I looked after lots of other brilliant authors and illustrators. But I always felt that I wanted to write my own stories. I loved helping other people create their stories, but I felt that there were stories inside me that I wanted to tell. And I realized, and this is true for all of you, that only I could tell the stories that I wanted to see. And so I had to stop being an editor then, and I became an author and I started writing some of these books. And I have really enjoyed it so far. So I recommend it to all of you to write down your stories, because only you can write them.
Thanks so much, Smriti, and thank you so much to everyone for joining us. It's been so wonderful to have you, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been wonderful sharing your brilliant story and looking at the comments and how much everyone's enjoyed it whilst you were reading it. I could have listened to that forever. Got such a lovely voice. And so thank you for everyone. And in the chat, you'll see a link to a feedback form. And it would be really lovely if you could take a few minutes just to fill that in so we can keep improving the book club. And you'll also see a discount code in the chat and in the follow-up email that we'll be sending, which will give you a wonderful 60% off Who Are You on the Collins website. And just to let you know that our next event will be with Jennifer Killick on the 29th of March, and that's for Key Stage 2. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Oh, and I just saw a message saying, yes, can you post pictures on Twitter? So I hope you will do that, and you can find me there as Smriti PH. So do put your pictures up, your doodle-us, when you have finished doing them. I'd love to see them. Bye.